So tell us about your journey to the MBA and the challenge of going back to maths 30 years later. And what did that experience teach you of yourself?
So the reality is that in order to be admitted to an MBA program, that's the standard worldwide, is you have to pass what is called the General Management Assessment Test, or GMAT for short. I studied. I thought I would be able to pass it quite easily. I arrived in Sandton. It's an online course, but 2/3 of that course is quantitative, meaning it's math-based, algebra, statistics. The part of your brain which unfortunately in our legal studies is not developed in the same way as the other side of the brain is necessarily developed. And guess what? I failed it fantastically, spectacularly. In fact, you have the option of submitting your results on the spot. If you don't, you forfeit the $250. And it was such a no-brainer. I said forfeit, because this mark was so poor. I wouldn't even qualify for matric, let alone an MBA. And the fact of the matter is that 30 years prior, that's 3 decades, in 1990, was the last time I had any exposure to algebra. What I did learn, however, is when you're stuck, ask for help. And so I did. I approached a retired applied maths professor. I call him the late, great Jerry Lemmer. And any lawyers who are watching this, who specialized in personal injury law, would have heard his name. He was an accident reconstructionist, but he did his PhD in applied mathematics at Cambridge.
Wow.
And we became friends. And Sundays evenings after church, my wife and I would drive to his house. She would sit with his wife Rihanna and drink tea, and Jerry would try and teach me maths. And this went on for about 6 months.
Wow.
And with a lot of hard studying and a lot of sweat, blood, sweat and tears, to quote Winston Churchill, I managed to have not a great score, but an adequate enough score to get me into the program. And what I learned from this is just, when you're stuck, reach out to other people. You're not on this journey alone, and don't think that you can wing it on your own. It's a smarter move to get people around you. Like me trying to do a podcast on my own. I just reached out to my friend Adrian, and here we are. And it's going to be 100% better than what my own effort would look like. And secondly, of course, the old saying, if at first you fail, try and try again. But it really is true. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. And I look back so fondly at that memory of studying, and I still, in fact, spend time over weekends challenging myself to do algebra. I love the concept of solving problems.
Yes.
And it was just a part of my brain that hadn't been trained, just like most lawyers are not trained in the business of law, but I'll touch on that in a moment.